Yo, what's going on, guys? And today I wanted to talk about the NBA coaches that I believe are on the hot seat currently. And if you guys do not know what the hot seat is, it's basically coaches that we believe are probably or most likely going to be fired at the end of this year's NBA season. So before we start today's video, I want to hear down below, what do you guys think are the most likely NBA coaches to get fired this year? So let's get in. All right, I'm out of breath. I just had some margaritas. And let's get in. First one, Terry Stotts. I love Terry Stotts. And look, when the goal is, and you have Damian Lillard, who has, like 2 years left before he has an option for the 24-25 campaign. And I think the thing is look, he has a great chemistry. He's got good loyalty. First off, Terry Stotts' contract costs about $6 million next year. Unless he takes this team to the Western Conference Finals, I think management... This is the same team. Also, the ownership that owns the Portland Trailblazers own the Seattle Seahawks. So they literally look at Pete Carroll, and they're probably like, look, we want our own Pete Carroll on the NBA side. So I think they want to find a guy that they believe, maybe like a Jason Kidd or a Nate McMillan. But I personally also believe Nate McMillan's going to get hired full-time by the Atlanta Hawks. So that's one thing. Or maybe the 76ers assistant David Yoger, or the Clippers assistant Chauncey Billups, or the Spurs vice president Brett Barry, are all coaching candidates that the Portland Trailblazers probably want. And I really do believe that the Portland Trailblazers are probably going to look for a big name, high dollar coach to replace him, because they want a guy to be championship or bust, because Lillard is such an important part for the Blazers that they can't lose him, and they need to take advantage of his peak right now. And their record currently is 36-29, 7th seed in the Western Conference. Next up, a little bit surprising, Nate Jorgen. And the reason I say this is because the last time a coach had been fired since the beginning of the year, I'm trying to find it, it was in 2013. What happened in Charlotte was former St. John assistant Mike Dunlap was fired after just one season amid widespread player frustration. And what seems to be the problem is that a lot of players are voicing their dissatisfaction with Jorgen and their general unhappiness with this down season, especially Sabonis and Brogdon. But you could also say that Jorgen has implemented an analytic style that players don't think is suitable for the roster, but a lot of players are having career years. And the other thing you could argue is that the ownership, Herb Simon, has shown a reluctantness to make coaching changes early in the process, as basically every single coach they've had, such as Nate McMillan, Frank Vogel, Jim O'Brien, Rick Carlisle, all at least had 4 years at the helm before being let go. So you look there, you're like, will Nate Jorgen be fired? I don't think so, but he is somebody that could be looking to have a big improvement from this year. Mike Budenholzer. We could say, yes, him choosing to embrace a switch defense is a big difference in his past, that he's implementing different ideas, because one of my biggest complaints with Mike Budenholzer is he's a great regular season coach, but he doesn't show progress in becoming a good X and O's on the fly type game plan coach that we see in Brad Stevens, Eric Spoelstra, Steve Kerr, Greg Popovich, Nick Nurse, all the good elite coaches. And yes, Mike Budenholzer great, but look, he has one more season worth $7 million. And this is a team that has lost multiple times in the playoffs. And obviously, if they lose in the first round and second round, obviously he's going to be gone. But even if they falter in the Eastern Conference Finals, I think he has to win a championship or lose in a very tight a very tight NBA Finals for him to keep the job, just because I think they're fed up and they don't think they can get over their hump with Mike Budenholzer. That's what I personally see from this situation. And yeah, I'm just being straight up. I think Mike Budenholzer is a great regular season coach, and he's a great coach to put you on the track of winning, but he's not a championship winning coach. Now, number 4 is my man Luke Walton. And I don't think Luke Walton's going to be fired, because first off, the Kings it's widely known that they lost approximately $100 million as a result to the pandemic. So that certainly is going to play into the decision-making process of firing him. So if they do fire him, they would have to be paying him in accordance with the original timing of the deal. They can't stretch it. They have no stretch provision with his deal. So first off, that's why I don't think Luke Walton's going to be fired. The second reason I don't think Luke Walton is going to be fired is he has maintained a strong relationship with most of the players, such as star guard De'Aaron Fox, and he has a very strong working relationship with first-year general manager Monty McNair. So when I look at this, Kings owner Vivek Randive probably has made it clear that he isn't happy with Luke Walton, but I don't think they're going to be able to afford firing him. And last but not least, the man that snuck this team into the playoffs, Scott Brooks. And look, he's in the last year of his 5-year deal, which is worth $35 million. And I think the Washington Wizards are a threat to make a deep run in this year's NBA playoffs. And I don't think it's because of Scott Brooks. I think it's because Russell Westbrook and Bradley Beal have been playing amazing. And the whole team is just flowing with chemistry. What I do believe is Scott Brooks is one of the better team personality managers. That's what he's really good as an NBA coach. He's a great manager of personalities. He's a great manager of superstars. I don't think he's a great X and O's coach. I don't think he's a good playoff coach, but he's a great coach that hypes up his players, makes his players believe that he believes in them and to believe in themselves. And I think that's a very great trait that he has, but I don't think he's a great player. But yes, the Wizards have won 13 of 16 games, and Beal and Westbrook are clicking like never before, and the play-in tournament's literally in sight. But he's in his last year of his deal, and you could argue part of the reason why Russell Westbrook's playing so great is because of him. And you could argue that if it ain't broke, don't replace Brooks. So, and they've made it the playoffs. What? They made the playoffs 3 times, 4 times with him? Because if you look at it, let's look at Scott Brooks' coaching record. Okay? Scott Brooks is an interesting coach. The fact that he's 55 years old, and seems like he's a very personable dude, and he's a very enjoyed and loved guy. But look, since he's not bad, okay? First off, he got fired after missing the playoffs with the Oklahoma City Thunder. Then he made it the first 2 years with the Wizards. He's made the playoffs. Past 2 years, he's missed the playoffs, and he's about to make the playoffs for another time. So it means he's technically have made the playoffs 3 out of 5 years for this team. And he's a former NBA player. I mean, I'm a big fan of this guy. I think what's interesting is this team. Scott Brooks is an interesting guy. Scott Brooks really is. It's just weird what their situation is. So let me hear down below, what do you guys think of the NBA situation right now? Like, if it's working, like, who else should be fired that I did not mention? Because I feel like I mentioned a good list of people, and I want to hear what you guys think. So yeah, that's about it for me today, guys. I hope you guys did enjoy this video, but peace out.